So, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we definitely need to talk about it. Mental health issues are on a rise, not just in the country, but in the world. That and more when we come back.
Good evening and welcome to Unabashedly Speaking with Mimi and Mashonda. I am Mimi.
And I'm Mashonda. How are you doing this week, girl?
I am doing well, sis. How are you doing over there?
Girl, it's been a long week. Trips to the ER, to the doctor's office, but we good. We here. That's what matters.
Right.
We're still standing, like Elton John would say.
Right. I'm glad that you all are doing much better. That is good.
So May is Mental Health Awareness Month, as well as Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. That's a mouthful, y'all. So we definitely want to honor all of our Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders in their month, and we hope that they enjoyed it.
Yes.
We don't really know what goes on for Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, but hopefully, a lot of wonderful things happen in that community. But on more serious topic, Mental Health Awareness Month. As you guys know, mental health awareness mental health issues have always been a problem that have plagued the United States and the world. Since the beginning of time, there have been an abundance of mental health issues. A lot of it is spiritual. People don't understand that. And that is why a lot of times people don't get the help that they need, because people keep it medical and scientific and forget that a lot of it is spiritual. Back in the days, they knew that a lot of mental health problems were spiritual, so things were done differently. Even the term lunacy, Luna means the moon. So they even know back then that the moon can affect someone's mental health. It was called moon sickness back in the day. But so we want to definitely touch base on mental health and some problems that are arising, and just a little bit that you can do, because obviously we are not doctors. I mean, I do have a psychology degree, so this is just our opinion. I have to put out the disclaimer, if anybody is having any mental health issues, please seek professional help. But we are just going to go ahead and give you some information that we have researched and found to pass on to you, and resources as well. So why don't you give us a breakdown, Mimi?
Okay, yes. So I don't want to say it's like normal people would say that people are suffering from mental health, because you're not suffering, you're battling it. So there's so many types of mental health issues that people are battling. And just for a brief summary, mental illness is a general term for a group of illnesses that may impact on a person's thoughts, perceptions, feelings, and behaviors. Mental health issues and illnesses can affect working and personal relationships. So counseling, medication, and or both can help you treat mental illness. I said treat. I didn't say that it may take it away, but it may treat it. So I'm just going to mention some of the mental health illnesses. I'm not sure if people are aware that it is 20 types of mental illness, and they're in categories. So I will start with anxiety disorders. Anxiety disorders are a group of mental health disorders that include generalized anxiety disorders, social phobias, such as agoraphobia, claustrophobia, panic disorders, obsessive compulsive disorders, or OCD, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, Untreated anxiety disorders can lead to significant impairment on people's daily lives. The next category is behavioral and emotional disorders. Common behavior disorders include ODD, which is oppositional defiant disorder, conduct disorder, CD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. Also, treatment for these mental health disorders can include therapy, education, and medication. And then you have bipolar affective disorder. And it is a type of mood disorder previously referred to as manic depression. A person with bipolar disorder experiences episodes of mania and depression. So the person may or may not experience psychotic symptoms. The exact cause is unknown, but a genetic predisposition has been clearly established. Environmental stressors can cause triggered episodes. I'm going to say that again. Environmental stressors can trigger episodes of this mental illness. Another one is depression. Depression is a mood disorder characterized by lowering of mood, loss of interest, enjoyment, and reduced energy. It is not just feeling sad. There are different types and symptoms of depression. These are varying levels of severity and symptoms related to depression, such as suicidal thoughts and behaviors.
Just really quick, I do want to explain to you guys, this is what some people do not understand. A lot of times you can be depressed about a certain situation and it is acute depression that turns into chronic depression, because when you become depressed, there is a chemical that is released in the brain that gets you stuck in that depression. That's why sometimes you might realize that whatever it is you were sad about, you kind of over it, but for some reason you can't quite get out of that funk. You get stuck in it for a while. It's because there is an actual chemical that is released that is keeping you there. And a lot of times with mental problems, sometimes knowing and understanding them can change your total outlook on everything. But once you understand what is going on, you then have the ability to change and counter those things. So I just did want to explain that as well.
Correct. Dissociation and dissociative disorders is a mental process where a person disconnects from their thoughts, feelings, memories, or sense of identity. And it can include amnesia, depersonalization disorder, and dissociative identity disorder, meaning that you just blank, like you're just blank. You don't have any feelings, memories, nothing. And also, therapy and medication can help with that as well. You want to say something about that one?
No, go ahead.
Okay. And then you have eating disorders, which include anorexia and bulimia and binge eating. They're disorders that affect people of all ages and genders and can have serious psychological and physical consequences, because once you're not eating properly, it does affect every organ in your body. Another one is obsessive compulsive disorder. Now that is an anxiety disorder, and it also affects like recurrent thoughts, images, or impulses that are intrusive and unwanted. Compulsions are time-consuming and distressing repetitive rituals. Treatment include cognitive behavior therapy, and medications. And then you have paranoia, which is the irrational and persistent feeling that people are out to get you. Paranoia may be a symptom of conditions including paranoid personality disorder or delusional paranoid disorder and schizophrenia.
And also, just really quickly, thank you, Kiki, for tuning in. I accidentally had the chat not activated. So those of you who are watching, if you want to chime into what we're talking about, the chat is now active. So thank you. Keep going, sis.
Okay. So Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, is a mental health condition that can develop as a response to people who have experienced any traumatic event. This can be a car or serious accidents, physical or sexual abuse, war-related events such as Vietnam, and so on and so forth like that, events of torture, or natural disasters such as brush fires and floods. Example, Hurricane Katrina. I'm pretty sure a lot of people has PTSD from that.
And actually, PTSD is on a super rise right now. And Kiki, you know a little bit of something about this because your man was just overseas in war for the last 2 years. There are a lot of soldiers who are coming home with PTSD. Right now, we have been at war since 2001. And unfortunately, the military is kind of just putting people in these situations before they're actually mentally ready. And they're not necessarily doing a great job. And I love the military, veteran right here. But they're not necessarily doing the greatest job at rehabilitating these soldiers when they come back home. They are very detached from reality. They don't know how to function in society. And there is a lot of PTSD going on in this country, not just for being at war, but like she says, it can come from so many different reasons, whether it's child abuse or something that you've seen or witnessed. And a lot of times people do not even know that they have post-traumatic stress disorder, because when you have been in a severe trauma, again, the brain also develops a defense mechanism and can cause someone to actually forget. It is a defense. That's why a lot of times when women are in childbirth, they might remember that they were in a lot of pain, but they don't exactly remember what the pain feels like or remember everything. They just kind of see like flashes, because your body does not allow you to remember the trauma. Because if you could remember the trauma, you would constantly be in that same pain. You would constantly be living that, whether it's physical or mental. So post-traumatic stress is a very big thing that some people don't even know that they have.
That's true. That is true. Okay, and also we have psychosis. People affected by psychosis can experience delusional hallucinations and confused thinking. It can occur in a number of mental illnesses, including drug-induced psychosis, schizophrenia, and mood disorders. Medication and psychological support can relieve or even at times eliminate psychotic symptoms. And then, of course, you have schizophrenia. I'm sorry. Goodness gracious. It's a complex psychotic disorder characterized by disruptions to thinking and emotions, and at a distorted perception of reality. So basically, it's like some people that suffer from schizophrenia, they hallucinate and they have delusions of thoughts and things that they swear up and down happen, but you may not see them happen. And, you know, I know a lot of people who suffer from this. So, and it also has split personality disorder, which is all into schizophrenia. Right. So you can be sitting here and I can be talking to you as Mimi, but I also could be talking to you as Robin. You know,
of course, y'all know me on my spiritual tip. I do have to interject now. Sometimes people are diagnosed with schizophrenia when they are really mediums. They really actually just see and speak to spirits, and they don't know it. So unfortunately, schizophrenia is a very hard thing to diagnose, because there are a lot of spiritual people who have abilities. Like, they got the sixth sense. I see dead people. Yes, they really do. And they're on all kind of medication when actually what they're seeing and feeling is very legit. It really is happening. So it is very, this is one of those ones that sometimes you don't know. And just like people be seeing and hearing evil things too. Like, there are evil forces in the world that be telling people to do things, demonic forces in the world that be telling people to do things. So it's a very hard one to diagnose.
Yeah, because I was going to say that as well. Like, you don't know. You can't really, it's hard to really tell, because spiritual beings, we do hear and see
On the
things. And if I go
screen,
tell somebody else, they're like, oh my God, you're crazy. Somebody that doesn't understand, they're going to really think that you're crazy.
Exactly. And then they got you questioning if you crazy, going, okay, well, am I really seeing spirits or am I just crazy? On the screen here, we do have some warning signs of mental illness. NAMI, the National Organ, what is it called?
Okay, so NAMI is the National Alliance
there you go.
of Mental Health Illness.
That is a website for you to go to get more information. These are some signs of mental illness. And we do want to also mention, again, like she said, there are all different forms of mental illness. And unfortunately, this past month, there has been some cases in the media that have shown just how serious mental illness is. Now, we remember not too long ago, everybody remembers Twitch, who passed away, who unfortunately committed suicide. He was the dancer on Ellen, and he was TikTok famous, and he was the DJ and dancer on Ellen. He committed suicide not too long ago. We recently had Bob Mowdy, another TikTok famous person who committed suicide this past month. And then we also had the case of Jordan Neely, the man who lost his life because he was having an episode. He was asking for food and such on the train, but he was a little manic. And instead of people being able to have patience and deal with the situation, unfortunately, it got out of hand, leading to the end of his life. There is another case you were talking about before. The girl, what was her situation?
Oh, yes, Tori Bowie.
Mm-hmm.
They said also committed suicide, but they didn't go into details as to how.
Okay.
But I'll go back to Twitch real quick, because he did have depression, but he was a functioning depressionist. Right, right. He had depression. He was functioning, because a lot of people with depression, they can't function. But he was able to function. Like, he was able to have.
You would go back and look at his videos and like, what? This man was. Right. He seemed like the happiest person in the world.
Right. Yeah, people didn't understand that, because they're just automatically assuming when you're depressed, you're just going to be down and you're not going to be happy and you're not going to have a good time. You're just going to be bedridden and not want to do anything. And he was the total opposite of that. Like, he was still functioning with having depression. He was still able to have fun with his family, go to work and do all these great things, but still on the inside, he was still battling depression. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, people that go through depression, sometimes we'll have our good days, sometimes we'll have our bad days. Sometimes we don't want to get out the bed, some other times we want to stay out the bed. So you can't just look at a person and say, oh, they're fine. They don't suffer from mental illness. They're perfectly fine.
Right.
That's not necessarily true, because if you look at me, what do you see? I look like I'm totally fine. But I also battle with mental illness as well. So it's like, depression is something serious, and it shouldn't be taken as a joke, because it's not a joke. PTSD is not a joke. None of these illnesses are jokes. And when people that are going through them, just try to be as supportive as you can and not be judgmental, because sometimes when you're judgmental, that will give them that last little push for them to go over the edge. So just be mindful of that. Try to read up on it and know about it before you judge
and have time for the people you care about. All right, a lot of times people are constantly, they can even be the strongest, toughest person and because of that, when they finally do say something, people don't take them seriously. Oh, you'll be okay, you're always okay. When somebody is telling you that they are dealing with something, pay attention. All right, pay attention and take them seriously. It doesn't hurt to listen. It doesn't hurt to give a few moments out of your time, because those few moments could have made someone's whole entire life, even if they are the person who cries wolf, because eventually the wolf does come. You know what I mean? So please do not dismiss people when they are telling you how they are feeling. and give them the time as much as they give you. Most of the time, these people are always there for everybody else, and then when it comes to them, people ain't nowhere to be found. I do want to give a message from Chester Bennington. Now, Chester Bennington was the lead singer of Linkin Park. He committed suicide a few years ago. Now, Chester Bennington, unfortunately, wasn't able to live by his own words, but Chester said that mental health needs to be as important as physical health. He said that please do not be afraid to reach out and talk to the people who are close to you. A lot of times people suffer in silence. People feel that they can't reach out, or maybe someone won't care, or they're afraid to be judged. But it is okay to reach out. And if you can't reach out to the people close to you, reach out to someone else, an unbiased party. On the screen are some free mental health sources, as well as on the side you see the National Mental Health Hotline. They are able to give you resources. Do not feel that you have to suffer in silence. And again, there are all different kinds of mental health triggered by different things. A lot of times there are substance abuse. Chester also went on to say that recovery is possible. Unfortunately, he wasn't strong enough to reach out to anybody, but it is still a very powerful message. And it's not changing, y'all. It's only getting worse, because guess what? The world is only getting harder to deal with, and the spiritual warfare is only getting bigger and stronger. All right, us strong spiritual beings, we are still weak. The strongest person still has their days, and like every dog has its day, as they say. You know what I mean? So we got to be there for one another. You got to pay attention. People are so stuck in their own life. They're so stuck in social media that people don't pay attention to others anymore. And that's when right. They do notice, they would rather just continue to keep going, to the point where like we are on this automatic response. How are you? I'm fine. How are you? Come on now. So what happens when somebody finally says, oh, I'm having a horrible day? People don't know what to say or do, because they're so used to people just being like, I'm good. How are you? I'm good. If you're not good, say you're not good. And if someone says they're not good, then talk to them.
Or listen.
Let me tell you, when I was dealing with some things, when I was in the military, I was dealing with some things, and honestly, I just needed someone to talk to, because I couldn't talk to the people close to me, because there were things happening with the people close to me that was causing me to be depressed, and they needed to be strong to deal with what they were dealing with, so I didn't have anybody to really talk to. I go to, and unfortunately, I say this, unfortunately, there are a lot of mental health people who are also the problem. I went to a doctor. The first thing they wanted to do is give me Xanax and lithium and all kind of psychological drugs, and label me as being bipolar. Sometimes people just have a problem. So if you go to someone and the first thing that they want to do is put you on medication, unfortunately, there are mental health professionals who make money by prescribing pills. Find you a different person, all right? Being on a whole bunch of pills is not always the answer. All pills are a Band-Aid. They cover up a problem. They don't fix it, all right? And then all them pills cause a whole bunch of other health problems in the long run. So find you a therapist who will talk to you. All right. Do not just go to a mental health person who just wants to shove pills down your throat. I have a hard time saying I'm not good because I'm always having to be good for everyone else. Yes, Kiki, a lot of people have that problem. They feel that they have to be strong for everybody. They have the weight of the world on their shoulder. Let me tell you something, y'all. If you have a day of weakness, the world is not going to fall. Okay? You have to take care of yourself, because guess what? If you don't take care of yourself, you cannot continue to take care of everybody else. We as human beings are energy beings. We are like batteries. We're like your cell phone. If you are constantly using your cell phone, eventually that battery is going to drain. If you are constantly giving your energy to everyone else, you are going to become drained. So if nobody is putting the energy back into you, what's going to happen? You ain't going to be able to function anymore. So you're going to have to find a way to put that energy back into yourself. You know, I don't really like to talk about scripture and things like that, but I want to give you another take on something. In the Bible, it says that you should have a day of rest to be holy. But I want to flip that just a little bit. The Most High wasn't telling you to be holy like you couldn't do nothing at all. The Most High was telling you to be whole, okay? To be one with yourself and become whole. You need at least one day to separate yourself from everything that's going on and recharge your own battery and become whole again. And that's what your day of holiness is. Because if we are constantly just giving and giving and being consumed by the world, that's exactly what's going to happen. We're going to be consumed, and all our energy and life force is going to be consumed. So you got to learn to put that energy in back into yourself however you need to do it. Even if that means you need to put up a do not disturb sign one day a week for your own mental health, for your own recharging. Because another thing is, when you are drained, you will get depressed. You will get sad. Everybody knows when you're exhausted, you also get like emotional. Have y'all ever noticed that? Like sometimes when you're exhausted and you just want to cry about every little thing?
Yes.
Well, there you go. So take your day to be whole. Be one with yourself. Go to the beach if you got to do that. Just shut your door and meditate. Whatever you have to do. But you cannot constantly be giving your energy to everybody else. You have to give it back to yourself too, honey. And, you know, the world is not going to crumble if you take a day to yourself. I promise you, it won't.
That's right. That's right. And it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Check on your strong friends. Check on your strong friends.
Yes, exactly. It is okay to not be okay, and it is normal. All right, and we really hope. I'm gonna put the info back on the screen one more time. These are places that you can call to find free mental health resources if you have nobody else to talk to. But please get help. And again, there are so many types of mental health. If you go to NAMI.org, they have a breakdown of all the different kind of mental health. And some of it can be hormonal too. Y'all think that women,
That's true.
The word hysteria, literally only a woman can be hysterical, because the word hyster stems from uterus. All right. So hysteria is actually mental illness from having your hormones from your menstrual cycle. So only women can be hysterical. They use that word wrong all the time. You know, we have hormonal problems sometimes too, and that's real, and some people deal with it more than others, so it is a struggle.
It definitely is.
Yes, but again, May is mental health awareness, but mental health awareness needs to be year round. Don't ever stop checking on your friends. And again, if you guys need help, please seek help. Now, when we come back, though, it's going to be word on the street. We're going to talk about some crazy stuff that is going on right now, y'all. Stick with us.
Incredible change happens in life when you decide to take control of what you do have power over, instead of worrying about what you don't. House of Healing Hands. Take control. Gain back your power.
Yesterday the sky was gray, but now I see such a beautiful ray.
Hey y'all, welcome back. Welcome back. Okay. Now I have to report this story about Fetty Wap. This is so sad. I mean, I know if you're a criminal, you gotta do the time. You know what I'm saying? When you do the crime. However, Willie Jr. Maxwell II, also known as Fetty Wap, yesterday he was sentenced to 6 years in prison for a drug trafficking conspiracy, which is very sad. But Fetty, oh, poor Fetty. But anyway, he distributed more than 100 kilos of cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, and crack cocaine across Long Island and New Jersey.
Oh.
So
he lucky that's all he got.
Yeah. So as of yesterday, it says in federal court in the Central ISLIP, United States District Judge Joanna Siebert sentenced William Maxwell II, who was Fetty Wap, to 6 years in prison and 5 years of post-release supervision for conspiracy to distribute cocaine. So they have been watching him for a while, since back. This goes back to during the pandemic. So according to the court filings from approximately June 2019 through June 2020, the defendants distributed more than 100 kilos of cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, and crack cocaine across Long Island and New Jersey. They also obtained the narcotics on the West Coast and used the United States Postal Service and drivers hitting vehicle compartments to transport controlled substances across the country to Suffolk County, where they were stored. The drugs were then distributed to dealers who sold them on Long Island and in New Jersey. So 5 of the defendants also used firearms to protect their drugs and distribution chain. So the defendants, Anthony Leonardi, Robert Leonardi, Brian Sullivan, and Kayvon Wiggins, participated in the purchase and transportation of narcotics from the West Coast to the East Coast, where they were preceded, stored, and ultimately resold. Maxwell, which is Fetty Wap, was a kilogram level redistributor for the trafficking organization, and Fenty transported kilograms of cocaine from Long Island to New Jersey. So they had search warrants. Search warrants were executed during the investigation, which resulted in recovery of approximately $1.5 million in cash, 16 kilos of cocaine, 2 kilos of heroin, numerous fentanyl pills, 2 9mm handguns, a rifle, a .45 caliber pistol, a .40 caliber pistol, and ammunition. So the government's case has been handled by the Office of Long Island's Criminal Division. Assistant United States Attorney Christopher C. Cavarone and Andre P. Wenzel, and Special Assistant United States Attorney Jacob T. Kubitz are in charge of the prosecution. So now let me tell you the ages, and then we're going to get off the story, but let me tell you the ages of these guys. Okay, Anthony Sintigi, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, he's 25, from New Jersey. Then Anthony Leonardi is 49, he's from Coram, Long Island. Robert Leonardi is 28, he's from Levittown, Pennsylvania. Fetty Wap, 31, Patterson, New Jersey. Brian Sullivan, 27, Lake Grove, Long Island. Kayvon Wiggins, 28, of Long Island as well. These guys are still young. They are still young with so much more life to live, and they need to be out here for their children, because Fetty Wap has a lot of children. So a lot of people are suffering with him being in there alone. I don't know about the other guys or what they have and what they don't, but and he tried to use his defense as he wasn't doing shows during the pandemic, so that's why he started selling drugs.
No.
Because he wanted money.
I'm not trying to hear that. Okay, the whole point is to get out the game. You know, you make it. You're an artist. You get out of the game. You don't continue to be in the game. You don't continue to now sacrifice your success and put your success on the line. Once you get out the hood, you get out of the hood. All right?
Yeah.
That don't make no sense. I don't give a darn. Then obviously you need to change your lifestyle if you can't have a pandemic and still maintain your bills as a celebrity. All right, then obviously you done bought too many fancy cars and too many big houses. People be jumping the gun and be wanting to spend all their money on all this jewelry and houses and cars before they have, millions to live off of. Y'all need to wait till y'all make a bunch of money, then buy nice fancy things. Y'all are living beyond your means. That's why I never understand when you hear about a celebrity going into debt and this, that, the other. Something ain't right. Something ain't adding up. Obviously, you doing too much. Okay, so he should have been able to go through a pandemic and still had enough money off the millions that he already made. That is very sad because he had the opportunity that everybody wishes they had. He made lots of money and gonna throw it all away because it wasn't enough. I don't want to hear that pandemic stuff.
I don't understand because he was doing, he got out the game, but when the pandemic hit, he went back into it. So his net worth in 2018 was $5 billion. 2019 it was $6 billion. 2020 $7 billion. 2021 is billion. I wish I could turn this around and show you. This is what I'm reading.
That makes it even worse.
And then 2023 he has 10 million. So you mean to tell me that this man actually had that much money?
See, that's my point. He probably had something that he could have sold before he sat there and did that. And obviously that means that he was living above his means. Something ain't adding up right at all.
No, it's not. And it's really sad because probably at the height of his career, and then sometimes you have songs that's just one hit wonders, and then you have songs that really go. But it's just like these guys, they're out here and they're creating all these families. You got babies here, you got babies there, you got
child support here. Not to mention that everybody want to pay for everybody else. They whole entourage. Yes, you can take care of your homeboy, but you ain't got to buy your homeboy no $1 million house. Like you can take care of everybody and making sure you still have a nest egg. You should always have that nest egg, something to fall back on. Y'all can't be sitting here buying yachts and all this, that, and the other when you still got so much life to live. At any point in time, your income could stop. So you want to make sure you have enough money to maintain. And that's what's so disappointing. Like, this did not even have to happen. There's just no logical reason. If you can be worth $1 billion and still feel the need to go back and sell drugs, now you go into prison. Right. But again, he got off easy. He got off very easy because the time he got compared to all that you just said that happened.
Yes.
So, but he gonna be making money in prison. He gonna be making money, and when he come out in 6 years, more than likely, he's still gonna be able to continue his career. So. Yes. Anyway, moving on, y'all. So y'all remember last year, Takeoff was unfortunately murdered after an argument. Well, the alleged killer, Patrick Xavier Clark, has just been charged with murder. Today, they went ahead and charged him. Patrick was arrested for the murder in connection of Takeoff's death. It says December, but I'm pretty sure it was in October. From what I remember, it was like October or November 1st. But anyway, this indictment means a grand jury has formally charged him with murder. So, we are happy that justice has been served. Like, I don't know if that's all that had. I feel like more people were involved, especially from a lot of things that were coming out in the beginning. But if this is the man that really did it, and if he's acted alone, then we're happy that it won't bring take off back by any means, but at least justice will be served in this situation. But that Chucky doll, though, okay, I just have to say. So this is footage that was released, okay, y'all. This is new footage that was released as well, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn the volume on so y'all can hear. This is moments before Takeoff was killed and he was getting an argument. All I'm hearing them is talking about basketball. They was arguing over basketball.
But that wasn't even him talking. That's Quavo,
right? And okay, I'm just still laughing at this Chucky doll somebody holding. But besides that, it was like the stupidest thing. They sit here, man, and forget it. I ain't messing. Like, it was the silliest little argument in the world. It's not even nothing big, and somebody really just ended his life for that.
Yep.
That's crazy. Just that quick. And all I heard was arguments about basketball. Just that quick.
Yep. And then you can see when Quavo went to go turn going about his business, and that's when and take behind him. So, and it's really sad. And then the young lady that was shot in the head, she was telling her side, and it's just like, this is too much. Like, it's too much. Like, it's sad.
It doesn't make any sense. All right, and then there was another crazy story. I don't have a visual, but go ahead and tell us about that crazy cannibal situation.
Y'all. So, this is some crazy Texas folks. No, I'm not calling y'all crazy now. But this Texas teen accused of killing parents and siblings. He said they were cannibals. So, authorities in East Texas have jailed an 18-year-old man on capital murder charges in the shootings of his parents, his sister, and his brother. So the police in the small town of Nash, Texas, say officers responding to a report that a man had harmed his family and was threatened to kill himself on Tuesday found Caesar, I don't want to mispronounce his name, but it's Olalde, barricaded himself inside the home. They were told that multiple people were dead inside. Now, Caesar later called the police saying he had pulled the trigger and shot his family, according to a probable cause affidavit by the Nash police. The officers persuaded, I'm just going to say his first name again, Caesar, to surrender, and then they found the bodies of the parents, Reuben and Ada, and the older sister, Lizbeth, and younger brother, Oliver, in a bathroom. It appears as the victims have been shot at various places in the residence and drugged to the bathroom. Multiple spent cartridges casings were found on the floor of the home, and blood splattered on multiple surfaces. Now, an affidavit said a co-worker of Lizbeth, which is the sister, had gone to the home because the woman had failed to arrive at work. And with a family member, the co-worker and a family member forced their way inside, and that's when they were confronted by Caesar, who pointed a firearm at them. The co-worker told the police that Caesar said he had killed his family because they were cannibals and they were going to eat him. Okay, so he's being held on a $10 million bond. So Nashtown is a town of about 3,800 on the western edge of Texarkana near Arkansas state line. Now hold up. So he's saying his parents and his siblings were cannibals and they were going to eat him. I mean, is he sane, or was he on drugs, or is he sane, or it could be possible that they really could be cannibals. Like, we don't know.
It's possible, but I mean, that seems like there was other things that could have been done. So I don't know. It just sounds like some crazy stuff to me. I wasn't there. I don't really know much about the story, so I can't really give an opinion. All I know is it just seems a little extreme.
Yeah, he didn't have to kill him. He could have just left the house.
And I mean, if he was able to kill his whole family, it seems like they must have not been, like, prepared. Like, they wasn't coming to attack him, because
Right.
they might have been like sleeping or not paying attention. Like, this sounds like a sneak attack. This don't sound like self-defense.
Right.
For everybody that got killed and nobody that been able to fight him, so it's a lot.
Right.
But hopefully the truth will come to light. I in the darkness that must come out to light. So, but yes, that is definitely strange news. But that is our word on the street, y'all. We're gonna take one quick little break, and then we'll be right back.
Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby.
If you need me, call me. No matter where you are, no matter how far.
Don't worry, baby.
Just call my name. I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry. 'Cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough.
Welcome back, y'all. So, a few people have passed away this past week, starting from last Thursday with Jim Brown. Mimi?
Yes. Jim Brown is a football legend. James Nathaniel Brown. He was born February 17th, 1936, and he transitioned on May 18th, 2023. He's an American football fullback, civil rights activist, and actor. He played for the Cleveland Browns of the National Football League from 1957 through 1965, considered to be one of the greatest running backs of all time, as well as the greatest players in NFL history. He also was a Pro Bowl invitee every season he was in the league. He was recognized for the AP NFL Most Valuable Player 3 times and won an NFL championship with the Browns in 1964. He led the league in rushing yards in 8 out of his 9 seasons, and by the time he retired, he held the most major rushing yards record. And in 2002, he was named by the Sporting News as the greatest professional football player ever.
Not to mention, he was in some films, a lot of black films back in the days. So he is definitely going to be missed. Also passed away on May 23rd at the age of, I believe, 62 or 63 was Sheldon Reynolds, the guitar player from the famous band Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Now, this one was really sad. I mean, because you're familiar with Earth, Wind, and Fire. A lot of people aren't familiar with, with football, but may they all rest in peace. But he was born December 10th, that's my baby's birthday, 1923. And wait a minute.
He was born September 13th,
wait a minute. Hold
1959.
On. I'm sorry, y'all.
Y'all was making him That's all right. That's all right. That's what happens when you have a live show, okay?
Right. I'm sorry, y'all.
No,
it's like went to a whole different.
He was born in September.
Oh, Sheldon. Okay, Here we go. Sheldon Maurice Reynolds.
Yes.
There we go. September the 13th, 1959 to May 23rd, 2023. He was an American guitarist, singer, and songwriter. He was a member of the bands The Sun, the Commodores, and Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Right.
He was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. He began playing the guitar when he was 8 years old, and by the time he was 12, he was considered a prodigy. He graduated from the University of Cincinnati. He toured with Millie Jackson. He later joined the R&B band Sun, with whom he recorded 3 albums. During 1983, he became a member of the Commodores. With the Commodores, he sang on their 1985 LP Night Shift, and then he played on their 1986 album United.
Yes.
And also, shortly afterwards, 1987, he joined Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Right. So
there's a lot.
Definitely
We had
remember
a lot of death
in
on the
September.
month of-
A lot of melanated death to be on top of that. But and then we're not going to say that, this is more tragic than anything else. But this situation is definitely hitting people a lot harder. It's Miss Anna Mae, who is just happens to be a lot more well known, but we're not trying to say that she is more important than anybody, but it is definitely getting a lot more attention. Miss Anna Mae, known as Tina Turner, did pass away just yesterday in her home in Switzerland, and we would like to take this time to remember Tina Turner. Go ahead.
Yes. Well, we have Miss Anna Mae Bullock, Tina Turner. She was born November 26, 1939. She transitioned on May 24th, 2023. She was an American-born Swiss singer, known as the Queen of Rock and Roll. She rose to prominence as the lead singer of the Ike and Tina Turner Revue before launching a successful solo career. She began with her career with Ike Turner's Kings of Rhythm in 1957 under the name Little Ann. She appeared on her first record, Box Top, in 1958. In 1960, she debuted as Tina Turner with the hit duet single, A Fool in Love. The duo, Ike and Tina Turner, became one of the most affordable live acts in history. They released great hits such as It's Gonna Work Out Fine, River Deep, Mountain High, Proud Mary, and Nutbush City Limits before disbanding in 1976. So once they disbanded in 1976, she became solo, and she had multiple platinum albums like Private Dancer, What's Love Got to Do with It. She got a Grammy for Record of the Year. She had a #1 song on the Billboard Hot 100. And by the age of 44, she was the oldest female solo artist to top the Hot 100. So, I mean, she just continued to make hits after hits after hits. And, oh, man, well, we can't say it's more sad, but it's like some people are much more familiar with Tina Turner than they were with the other deceased people that we spoke on. And it's just like Tina Turner, she had this story that she also was a survivor of domestic violence.
Yes.
And that can touch home for a lot of people that have been in that situation and were able to overcome it. She was just, I mean, her music, you hear it everywhere. And then we have, Angela Bassett that portrayed her in the movie, and it brought it to life, her story to life.
Yes, and Angela Bassett wants to say, how do we say farewell to a woman who owned her pain and trauma and used it as a means to help change the world? Through her courage in telling her story, her commitment to stay the course in her life, no matter the sacrifice, and her determination to carve out a space in rock and roll for herself and for others who, like her, Tina Turner showed others who lived in fear what beautiful future fulfilled with love, compassion, and freedom should look like. Let's see. She also says, her final words to me, for me, were, you never mimicked me. Instead, you reached deep into your soul, found your inner Tina, and showed her to the world. Angela says that she should hold these words close to her heart for the rest of her life. And so today, which was yesterday, while we mourn the loss of the iconic voice, presence, she gave us more than we could ever ask. She gave us her whole self. And Tina Turner is a gift that will always be simply the best. Angels sing thee to thy rest, Queen. Beautiful words by Angela Bassett. And I do want to say that we do have a clip on our YouTube as well as other platforms where it was an interview that Tina did give. And she said back in 2018 that a lot of people in life, they start off their life real good, they're young and everything is great, and it's towards the end that their life gets hard as they get older. But she says hers was quite the opposite, that her life started off rough and hard, but towards the end her life was amazing and she was thoroughly happy. She was very happy in life and in love. And so we can at least know that Tina was loved, she was happy, and she died peacefully at the age of 83. So we definitely would like to remember Tina and still give our condolences, though, out to all of those affected by this loss and her family. And she will definitely be remembered and missed.
Yes, all of our prayers and thoughts and condolences go to all of the families who we just spoke on. I mean, it's really sad because every day, is somebody is transitioning, which we know that's a part of life.
Right.
But it's sad. It's still sad because it's like you're not expecting it to happen when it happens. And I just can't imagine, what all these families, are going through. It's just a sad time all around the world. There's so much stuff going on, and y'all, we just have to love on your family and your dear friends while they're here.
Definitely.
So you won't,
give someone their roses while
away.
they live. Give roses while they live. Don't wait to put them on their graves, people.
Yes, because once they're gone, they're gone. You can't get those moments back, and it's like, do the best you can. You can't force anybody to want to communicate with you, but you can still do your part and, just try and just be more loving and be nice to people, be kind. I mean, because you don't know. You never know. Like I say all the time, you never know what the next person is going through. So life has an unexpected ending. So just love on each other.
Definitely. And we appreciate you all for being here tonight. I'm sorry. Hold up, Kiki. I missed a couple.
We missed Kiki.
Yes, girl. She was just commenting on what we were saying. Yes, some people it's almost like you feel like they will live forever, but we all have to go when it's our time to go. But yes, we definitely and when you see someone on TV, it kind of makes it different because they've been there your whole life. You're constantly watching. Right. Sometimes you forget that they're actually real people. These people have real lives, and which makes it actually harder for the families because it's hard to mourn the way you want to when you're constantly being reminded every single day about the one that you have lost. So we definitely send our prayers to these families of all these celebrities who have passed away, all these great icons, and anybody else who has lost someone that they love. We definitely send our thoughts and prayers to all of you. But again, thank you all for being here. And we just want to reiterate, check on one another. I put up the mental health resources. Again, these are free resources that they offer for people who need any sort of mental help. The 988, you can text or call 988 from your phone, and that is a free hotline for not only mental health, but it is also suicide prevention as well as addiction. All right, so that is the National Crisis Health Hotline. Okay, 988, y'all. It's something that they just passed like last year. So it is for all different kinds of crises. So also addiction, suicide prevention, and mental health. And go ahead and give us the speech, girl.
But yeah, like I was saying, like be kind, be loving, be respectful, be there for one another. I mean, I know you're gonna have your differences with your friends and with your family members, but see if you can come to a conclusion to be able to reunite and be there for one another, because anything is possible to happen. Nobody is promised the next second of life. So just try your best, like I said, just to be loving and be there for one another, because so many people are going through so many different battles that you know nothing about. So if they contact you and want to talk, listen, because that's really quick. That's one thing that a lot of people that suffer from mental illness, the problem that they have and don't want to talk to other people is because not that you're just quick to judge, but you don't listen. You have to listen to hear, listen to understand. Not all the time do they need feedback. They need someone to listen. So listen to them, let them get it all out, and then ask them, would you like for me to respond? Because sometimes they just may want you to listen, and then that's it. You know, so be mindful of that. Be very mindful of that, because you don't want to be triggering. And if you know someone that is suffering with mental illness and they have triggers, learn their triggers so that you won't trigger them. Because if you trigger them, that could send them in a direction that you're not prepared for. So try not to trigger people when you know what their triggers are.
Yes.
Be mindful of.
We are definitely so caught up in our own world nowadays, caught up in technology. We have our head in our phones. People very seldom are looking around. They're very seldom aware of their surroundings. They don't pay attention to. A lot of people give you signs before they have breaking points. And the breaking points can go either way. It can be internalized or externalized. And we are seeing way too many examples of external breakdowns, and people are going crazy and taking out a whole bunch of other people. And some of those people just needed someone to talk to. And not only if their life could have been saved, but several other people's lives could have been saved as well. So not just for someone else's health and safety, but for your own and the people that you love. And talk to your children also about treating other children respectfully, and not to sit there and tease them and taunt them, because nobody knows what these kids are going through at home. So it's very important that you teach your children how to be good to other children, because children are cruel. And if you are an abused child or something like that, and you go to school and now you're getting bullied, you're going to break in one way or another, especially at such a young age. So we definitely need to be talking to our children about how to respect and be there for other kids, or at the very least, do not join in when they're getting bullied, or maybe be that one person that just talks to that bullied person. That can make a difference in their lives forever, to be honest with you, because a lot of things stick with people that happen in during school years. It sticks with the person that they're going to be for the rest of their life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and to your point, it does make a difference when you talk to someone, you know, respectfully, and try to get to the bottom line of it. But also, when you see a child that's struggling at school, go back and tell your parents, talk to your parents about it, because I'm pretty sure you have clothes in your closet, shoes in your closet that you're not wearing. Maybe you could donate them to the school, and the school will then give it to that child that needs it, or talk to your parents. Maybe you can meet up with the other parents and it can be given to that child.
Right.
I mean, because we have to do something. We have to do something to help. We can't just always depend on teachers and everybody else to help, you know, the government and all that. We have to help too. You have to help within your community. But yeah, just be mindful of your surroundings. Always be mindful of your surroundings. And I just can't wait for them to pass a law where bullies will be punished the way that they need to be punished, because it's too many taps on the hand, and they're getting away with too much stuff. So just talk to your babies, see where your baby's head's at. That's important. That is very important, to talk to your children,
and
because they suffer.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm finished. Go ahead.
Okay. But on a lighter note, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, follow us, all of our platforms right over here.
Yeah.
And y'all, if you want to be on the show, or if there is an important topic that you would like for us to talk about or post about, our email is right there. We would love to hear from y'all. We would even love to have you on the show. And speaking of which, tune in on Saturday, because we're going to have our girl Elisa Plessy back on. Miss Plessy is going to talk. We are going to talk more about this whole Jim Crow law and segregation. Miss Plessy is actually a descendant of Homer Plessy, who was a part of the case Ferguson versus Plessy that started the whole separate but equal. And who went against the Jim Crow law. So this is actually her legacy, and she has a lot of wonderful things to say. So this is part 2 to what we had going on last week. We have a lot more to speak about because it is growing. It is a growing situation. There's now 3 states who have adopted this segregation law, and just a lot going on that is not being talked about enough. So we would definitely love for y'all to tune in next week. And again, contact us. We would love to hear from you. But until then,
have a good night.
And we will talk to you later. Good night.